Does your device run into a problem and need to restart because of the inaccessible boot device blue or black screen error? Are you stuck in a restart loop and unable to access your desktop in Windows 11 or Windows 10? Don't worry. In this video, I'll show you the safest and most reliable ways to fix this issue and get Windows booting normally again. Before we begin, think about what happened before the error appeared, such as a Windows update, changes to BIOS or storage settings, a BIOS update, installation of a new SSD, hard drive, or storage driver, or the installation of new software. The answer may help you focus on the most relevant solution. The inaccessible boot device error, also known as stop error 0x00000007B, occurs when Windows loses access to the system partition during startup. Common causes include failed updates, corrupted system files, damaged boot data, storage driver issues, incorrect BIOS or storage settings, drive failures, and disk corruption. Let's begin with the solutions. First, disconnect anything unnecessary from the computer. Remove external hard drives, USB drives, memory cards, docking stations, and recently added storage devices. Then start the PC. Sometimes Windows is simply trying to boot from the wrong drive, or a new device is causing a conflict. Loose drive connections can also cause Windows to lose access to the operating system partition. If you're using a desktop computer or a laptop, power off the system and carefully reseat SATA cables, power cables, or NVMe SSD connections. Then start the PC. Turn off your PC completely. Turn it back on and immediately press the BIOS key, usually F2, F12, delete, or F10 depending on the manufacturer. Once you're in the BIOS, confirm that your SSD or hard drive is detected. If the drive is not detected, the problem is likely hardware related, such as a loose cable, bad M.2 connection, failed drive, or storage controller problem. If the drive is detected, check the storage mode. It may be called SATA mode, storage mode, AHCI, RAID, Intel Rapid Storage Technology, RST, or VMD. If the error started after changing any of the mentioned settings, switch it back. If you're unsure, record your current BIOS settings using your phone camera before making changes. Then try changing these settings one at a time. For example, if it is currently set to RAID or RST, try changing it to AHCI and vice versa. Also verify the boot order. If your computer uses UEFI mode, make sure Windows Boot Manager is first in the boot order. If it uses Legacy or BIOS mode, make sure the hard drive is first in the boot order. After each change, save your settings, usually by pressing F10, and then restart the computer. If the system still fails to boot, restore the original BIOS settings and continue to the next solutions. To enter the Windows recovery environment, turn on the PC. When the Windows logo or spinning loading circle appears, press and hold the power button until the computer shuts down completely. Repeat this process 2 or 3 times. If the recovery environment is enabled and the BCD file is intact, your computer should boot into the automatic repair screen. If recovery is disabled or the BCD is corrupted, you must create a bootable Windows 10 or Windows 11 USB using your Android phone or another computer. Plug in the bootable USB and start your computer. Press F12 or another key to access the boot menu, depending on your computer manufacturer. Select the USB drive from the list and press Enter to boot from it. Select the language settings and click Next. Select Repair your PC and click Next. Choose a keyboard layout and then select Troubleshoot. In older Windows versions, select Repair your computer, then choose Troubleshoot to open advanced options. Refer to the video description for more details about creating a bootable USB and booting from it. If the drive appears in BIOS but Windows still won't start, verify that the recovery environment can detect it. Open Command Prompt and run these commands. If the drive appears, continue to the next solutions. If the disk does not appear or the list disk command shows there are no fixed disks to show, the storage controller driver may be missing. Download the appropriate Intel storage controller driver from the Intel website or from your computer or motherboard manufacturer's website, such as Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, Acer, MSI, or Gigabyte. Extract it to a USB drive using this command. Connect the USB drive to your computer. Type Notepad and press Enter. Click File, Open, and then select the This PC icon. Open the USB drive and then navigate to the extracted driver folder. Locate the iastorebd.inf file and copy its path. Load the driver using this command. Run these commands to recheck. If the drive still does not appear, you may have a hardware failure. If boot records or BCD files are damaged, open Command Prompt and run the shown commands one at a time. Type Yes and press Enter if prompted. Type BCD Edit and press Enter. Find the Windows partition letter from OS device line. If the letter is not shown, execute the following commands. Select any volume that has no assigned letter by its number using this command. Assign a free letter using this command. Repeat the previous two steps for all volumes that have no assigned letters. Type Exit and run BCD Edit again. If the letter is still not shown, type Notepad and press Enter. Click File, Open, and then select the This PC icon. Open all partitions one by one to find the Windows partition letter. Any partition that contains the Windows and Users folders is the Windows partition, but not the X drive. Return to Command Prompt and execute this command. Replace C with the letter of your Windows partition. If boot files are created successfully, restart and test. If the problem started after an update, uninstalling recent or pending updates may help. From Advanced Options, select Uninstall Updates. First choose Uninstall Latest Quality Update. If the issue continues, return and choose Uninstall Latest Feature Update. You can also run these commands. Replace C with the letter of your Windows partition. Restart and test again. System Restore is an effective solution, but you cannot use it if it was not previously enabled or if you are booting from a bootable USB. Select System Restore. Choose a restore point created before the error started appearing and follow the instructions to restore Windows settings. System Restore returns Windows settings and drivers to an earlier state without affecting personal files. If you are not booting from a bootable USB, go to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, Startup Settings, then Restart. Press 5 for Safe Mode with Networking. If Safe Mode works and the error appears after installing a new program, right-click Start menu and select Apps and Features. Uninstall recently added antivirus programs, backup software, encryption tools, cloning tools, or disk utilities. If the problem began after a driver update, open Device Manager and expand storage controllers and IDE ATA or ATOPI controllers. Double-click the storage controller and choose Rollback Driver if the option is available. Then restart normally. Corrupted Windows system files can also trigger this stop code. Open Command Prompt and run this command. Windows will attempt to repair any damaged system files it finds. You can also run this command. Restart after the repairs complete. Disk corruption can also prevent Windows from accessing the boot drive. First run a read-only scan using this command. If errors are found or you suspect bad sectors on the drive, run this command. Replace C with the letter of your Windows partition. If the drive is failing, check disk may stress it, so use caution if your data is not backed up. Allow the scan to complete, then restart the system. If none of these fixes work, run the built-in hardware diagnostics from Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, Acer, Toshiba, or your manufacturer. If the SSD or hard drive shows health warnings, back up your data and replace it. Common signs of drive failure include clicking sounds, frequent freezing, very slow performance, and repeated disk errors. If Windows is still unable to boot, go to Troubleshoot, reset this PC. Choose Keep My Files and then select Local Reinstall. This reinstalls Windows while preserving personal data. If all other repairs fail, the Windows installation may be severely damaged. Back up your files and perform a clean installation of Windows 10 or Windows 11. Refer to video description to learn how to perform a clean Windows installation. If this guide helped you fix the inaccessible boot device error, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who may be experiencing the same problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.